Okay. So I am going to try something here. All right, we're just gonna keep doing what we've been doing here. We've had a mixed bag of good luck, bad luck, and just all sorts of different things here. Um, we've gotten past 10 hits twice. That's a pretty big deal because that's the game here. Get past 10 hits. The expectation is if you get past 10 hits, then you should probably win. A majority of the time, a strong majority of the time, if you get past 10 hits, you should win. And I've got past 10 hits twice since we got here, and both times, just bad luck, I guess. I mean, there's a combination of bad luck and failure to execute is what's been going on. Yesterday, I switched controllers again. I went back to the controller that I had cleaned out, and that did seem to have a positive impact. So we're going to stick with that controller again today. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to go on this. I mean, ideally, I would just do one battle, we'd win, and then I could move on to something else. That would actually be pretty outstanding. Even if that something else is grinding this battle, I wouldn't restrict myself to watching this cutscene. I would just make a save at the party selection screen, and that would speed things up quite a bit. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I haven't decided what I'm going to do next. There are a couple of games I could just start a new game of something. I could play this game again in a different variant. I just haven't figured out what I want to do yet. But right now, I'm going to continue with this strat until we get a successful outcome during a live streaming event. That's what's going on here. So to recap here, there's a schedule to what's going on here. I don't have this posted yet. I haven't updated my website with this strat. This is just so I last updated my website in like 2017 or something. I don't know. It's been a long time. But maybe early 2018, I don't remember. But a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago or something like that, I went through and I reworked my strat for the final boss fight. And that's what we're using here. There's a schedule that the goal is to maintain the schedule. So what we do here is round 1, Celis casts Doom on the long arm, or tier 1. Tier 1 round 1, Celis casts Doom on the long arm, save and flows to the party, sets her cast ace on Celis. Round 2, we do a reverse Joker Doom. That's it, 2 rounds for tier 1. Tier 2, it's about 4 rounds if we stay on schedule. We go Siren with Celis, Edgar uses a Tincture on Celis, and then it kind of deviates from there based on whether or not Setzer and Sabin get knocked out. If they don't get knocked out, we could probably do it in 3 rounds. Nothing goes wrong at all, but odds are most likely it'll take 4 rounds because it would be almost impossible to stay on schedule through the second tier. That's not likely at all. And then we could reset for the third tier and get back on schedule as far as the schedule is concerned. In my notes, I don't have anything written down except for Reverse Joker Doom, but I do know, I mean, in a perfect world, that's all you do, right? You have enough magic in the bag or on your characters at the beginning of round 3, or tier 3, round 1, to be able to just execute Joker Doom, or Reverse Joker Doom, like, boom. You don't even do anything. You just you input the commands, and you're done with it. It's really that easy if things, work your way. So far, things are good on this. We've got Doom to hit on the first turn. No one's been knocked out yet. First round has been perfect. So now we'll see if we can get second round to be perfect too. If anyone hasn't seen this before, what we're doing here is we're doing Reverse Joker Doom for the final boss. All 4 tiers, we Reverse Joker Doom it. And how we do that is this. We Vanish Setzer, we Muddle Setzer, we Fight Command Setzer in that order, and then we put our reels in, and our reels for Reverse Joker Doom are 7/7 bar. And there's a fair amount of RNG here. See, anybody who's watched any of these knows that I don't like this one here. We have time to burn because I was fast. So this is what we're looking for. This is pretty much perfect. If you look at the first reel there, we're just right above the bottom of the beak. It's almost impossible to miss our 7 here. So that wouldn't be perfect. Perfect, in my opinion, would be to have the line right at the bottom of the beak, like perfectly at the bottom of the beak. That would be ideal. We're running out of time here now because we have only... Man, this is going to be tight, but we can get it. There we go. And then this is going to be a little bit of a lag, but I think we'll get it. See, that's the thing. Sometimes I'm like, it's a little bit of a lag, so I hesitate too long on that diamond, and then I catch the airship. And that really kind of pisses me off a little bit, because it's like, I probably didn't need to rush that one. I probably could have just gone with it. But we were on schedule there, so I just kind of wanted to keep that. And then, now we've lost our schedule completely. So typically what's happening here, now I'm out of order. I'm getting pissed off because it's all shit at this point. But we wouldn't put that tincture on Sabin until the first round of the second tier. So now my schedule is all off. And now, since I've already vanished him, it's kind of a thing. And, we're just going to have to try and be really fast here is what we're going to do. But I think we can still make it work. If I can just execute this here. There we go. This is like a little bit off of perfect, but it's pretty much right on perfect. And then this diamond here, I really like. We could be a little bit higher, but I like that. It's really hard to mess that up. I mean, you can do it, but if you just stick with, and then we can get ruined here with some garbage that I had forgotten about, but apparently there's some garbage here that could happen. The garbage didn't happen. The garbage did not happen. The garbage would be a retort that knocks out Setzer. The Quake is to be expected. We have taken precautions for Quake. We don't have any worries about Quake. Quake is a non-factor. So now tier 2, we're going to go use Celis's Esper, and then we're going to put a tincture on Celis to get her back up on magic, and then we're going to use Celis again to doom the machinery, and yeah, we don't have magic. So because we failed on the first round to go just right, we weren't on schedule anymore, so everything is off of order. Normally that tincture would be used there, but I had to wait now. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, tincture. So now we have to wait for Celis to go, so that slows everything down. We're going to go ahead and and wait to bring back Setzer until we get rid of that machinery here. That machinery uses a lot of really nasty stuff, and it's just best to wait to try and bring the party back until that thing is gone. Once that's gone, you know, then we can go ahead and try and bring the party back. So now that we've got Siren used and the machinery has been doomed, now we can go ahead and try and bring everybody back. We still need to cast haste on Edgar. The only person that knows haste is Setzer. We're getting pretty close now to our chance to dodge 10 hits. Oops. Son of a... That was just... So I double tapped Vanish on Celis, which is probably not going to screw us in any way other than it robs us of a full round. Now we have to wait another round, which means that more garbage can happen, which means that, you know, we could be set back here for who knows how long. That's the thing, you know. If we stay on schedule, this all goes really, really smooth like. But it's almost impossible to stay on schedule completely and totally because there's just so much that can go sideways. So much. But we're in about the safest spot we can be here. And now we're going to go ahead and try and go and see if we can't dodge our 10 hits and get to tier 3. That's the objective. That's the game here. The game is let's get to past 10 hits. That's the strat. Now the strat that I've devised should get you past 10. I mean, it'll get you to 10 hits. Almost every time you should get to 10 hits if you execute. There is the one caveat that you could get wrecked by that garbage retort there at the end of tier 1, which I had forgotten about completely and didn't even know I forgot about it. But it had been happening. So anybody who's watched this before knows I don't like this. This is a long pause. There's not a long pause. We're talking about fractions of a second here. But this is a long drop here between when I press the pause or the unpause button and make my selection on 7. I don't like that. And we have time, so we're going to try and get a better lineup for that. This is a little bit better. You can still be too fast here, but I like this a lot better, and I'll take it. You're probably going to get your 7 on that one. Now this here is another long pause. I don't like it. It's a little bit at the bottom of that diamond, and it's really easy to still grab that diamond here. And since we do have time, we're going to go ahead and try and grab another diamond. There we go. This is about perfect. You shouldn't make... This is like pretty much perfect here. If you're here, you should get that bar every time. Like, let's put it this way. You have to get it there. You have to get that. Now, see, this is the garbage we're talking about here. Like, execution was flawless, basically, and yeah, so that's what can happen when you inadvertently vanish Celis. She can then be frozen, which normally she would be immune to freezing. And honestly, she might be the only one that has fire in the whole freaking party, which really makes it so that, man, this is just so much trash. Now we're going to be sitting here forever. I mean, this could be, who knows how long I got to sit here and wait. Because I might have to whittle Celis down, and if I have to do that, I think we're just going to reset. I mean, I guess I could Joker or Vanish Doom her. That's probably the best thing to do. If I have to whittle her down. Well, actually I don't. Oh, mother... Alright, so I'm going to see maybe Setzer has, possibly, there's a small chance Setzer has fire. If so, we can probably unfreeze her. No, he doesn't know fire. So the only thing we're going to do, or be able to really do here, is, oh, she melted. Okay, good. Alright, fair enough. Wait enough time, and they thaw out. Okay, so he doesn't ever really use magic. He's in order. We're going to go ahead and vanish. Well, we can't yet. We're going to go ahead and bring him back. So the reason why we vanish Sabin here is because that makes him invulnerable to 10 hits. Which means we got 3 people on the field that will survive 10 hits. The only one that won't is Setzer. He won't, well, if he gets hit, you know, I mean, he could block it, but if he gets hit, that's it. If he gets hit, then we start over. Now, being that we are completely off schedule here, we're way behind where we'd like to be. We've spent way more time than we'd like to. In a perfect world, everything would stay on schedule, and we would just fly through this whole thing in just a couple of minutes. But that's not likely to happen. It's a roll on top of a roll, on top of a roll, on top of a roll, on top of a roll. It's really improbable. Now, see, and then there's that garbage. Now we're set back. How far now? We have to wait and wait and wait and wait and bring people back and use dried meat and Phoenix down. It's just gets really frustrating. You're like, well, why don't you just vanish Setzer? Yeah, there's vanishing Setzer, but part of Reverse Joker Doom requires, well, it doesn't require, but it makes it a lot easier if we use that vanish as part of our sequence, because it buys us more time. And I wasn't in order here, so now we're gonna have to be pretty much perfect here. So if I'm fast and we're in order, I will be here on the reels before Celis has even finished vanish yet. But I was slow, so now we're starting the reels right when Sabin is starting his muddle. And the only window of in order for this to work, we have to finish our reels before Sabin finishes muddle. That is required. And if we execute here flawlessly, oh, this is a long roll, but I have to go for it. Okay, we got lucky. We should be able to get this. All right, so we got lucky. If we survive this, we're at the 3rd tier. Yeah, what? Give me a break, dude, with that trash. We're gonna tincture up again. How many times do they have to pull that crap? I mean, I lock it in and then, pfft, dude, just so much garbage. It's just so infuriating. Like, unbelievable. So we lock it in twice on tier 2. Execution is flawless. We have a tiny window, and the reels are locked in perfectly. We get kind of lucky on the long pause there. I call it long pause because it's you have to wait there for a moment. You can't just press the button right away, or you'll lock in the wrong reel. So on our part, we're doing everything that we can do to make it so that this will go the way we want. But RNG is brutal on this. It's absolutely brutal. It's bad enough that we have to try. I mean, that's the first time I remember being annihilated, honestly. Straight up annihilated before tier 3. Because, I mean, if we get into a spot like we get screwed over by RNG, I'll just reset. But I hadn't brought the party up after Flare Star the last time because, well, I didn't anticipate we'd be seeing another Flare Star. I anticipated that we'd be at tier 3, or at least, you know, if 10 hits gets us, 10 hits gets us. Nothing you can do about that. 10 hits is, it's just what it is, you know. If it hits Setzer, you're done. That's the game. Get past 10 hits. Previous strategies that I had used, they were safer, definitely safer. But you spent so much time just whittling away at tier 2 with things like bio and all that. I mean, you could get away with not having to spend lots of tinctures because you're osmosing, but if you're osmos bioing, I mean, what's the difference between that and osmos rasp? And osmos rasp is probably the single most mindless endeavor that ever came of this game. I mean, you just sit there and rasp osmos over and over and over and over. I'm not saying I've never done it. I'm just saying it's mindless. A 3-year-old could do it if he understood where to select the buttons. There's no skill. Zero skill in rasp osmos. And so I don't know. Let's try and do it faster. Let's try and do it better. I'll say there's really no skill in using Banished Doom either. But it's fast. So there's that. You know, if Rasp Osmos was fast, I could get on board with that. See, there's that cool waterfall. It's almost like Niagara Falls there. The backdrop there, you only see at the very top of that. But it is pretty cool. I like that. Maybe I can freeze that frame and save it. I like that. Also, our reasons for our order here are basically to make it easier on me or whoever's doing this to get our... Well, Setzer being first is super important. That's like a huge deal. But also, if Setzer gets knocked out, Celis being the first person, also a huge deal. And if Celis gets knocked out, Edgar being the first person, a huge deal. So there is a rhyme and reason to why we are in the order that we're in. Pretty much everything that's going on here has a specific reason for it. Oh, let's see. We probably don't get out of the first round quick like here. We had a pretty much on schedule tier 1 last time. But we'll see what happens here. Nah, yeah, so she misses. So we're already off schedule. But it's alright. It's not a real big deal at this point. Did I miss there? Yeah, that was garbage. Straight trash. Whatever. Maybe it'll come into my favor later on. So normally I would just reset here. But we have to watch the cutscene. So I have to factor that in. I haven't done the math on like how many actual minutes it is for that cutscene. But if we have to watch the cutscene again... Now I don't even remember. Did Doom hit? I guess I could try it. Yeah, it did. Alright. So Doom hit. And let's go ahead and tincture her. And let's go ahead and Phoenix down him. And let's get him lined up. And wait for everybody to get in line. And then we'll go ahead and do our attempt here. We're way off schedule, but I think we're still ahead of having to watch the cutscene over again. So it's okay yet. We're, you know, we're alright. So long as we don't get, you know, total BS here, we should be okay. Alright, so we do actually have a fair amount of time. We have the window of time after... There we go. After Celis casts her... There we go. Oh, no! So that's my fault. That's my bad. I had all the time in the world. I didn't need to rush it. It wasn't perfect. I could have gone for another reel. I had time. Now probably he doesn't have... Now probably Saban doesn't have magic. Right. So that's the problem here. once we come off schedule, then I start to get pissed off because now we have to slow everything down, use extra turns, and we're not, going through at a nice, quick pace. It also opens up the possibility that, some loser goes and smacks Setzer down, or goes and smacks Saban down, and then we gotta start all over again with the garbage. It just can get really frustrating, and that's why I don't typically do more than a couple of rounds of this at once, because it can get pretty frustrating. I'm kind of surprised I haven't missed that first reel yet. I've been cutting it close a few times. Yeah, see, like that's too tight. I mean, I can make that, but that's a really close shave. I'd much rather not have to do that. And then I think this diamond is bad. There, oh man, I'm like, I need to pick up some time. There we go. So there's a double tap there on those reels. There's what I would consider like my standard double tap, and there's a amount of time that will go past with that, and like that's just kind of baked into what I'm doing here. But if the timing on the reels is off, then I have to make up that time or lose a little bit of time. And it's usually easier for me to make up a little time if I'm going like a double tap, double tap, double tap. Or if I want to reset it completely, I can just let it spin around once and then catch it on the other way back. That's probably the easiest way to do it, but it takes the most amount of time. So it's, let me think here. We got to go sell this here. Alright, so things are going okay here so far in round 2. It's very unlikely to have both Setzer and Saban make it past the first volley. It can happen, but it's not very likely. And we're actually quite a bit ahead there because I had to wait for... Well, that's probably because I used haste first, that's why. If I had used the tincture first, then, then we wouldn't have lost anything there. Alright, so we got our hit there, and now let's go ahead and bring back Saban, and if I had used... Well, we can do that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. That's something I can work out there, because there is, I can save a round if I'm a little bit more specific on how I do a couple of these things. And then sometimes I kind of forget where I'm at, and I don't think I've used a tincture on him yet. We'll be okay. Well, no, we're not gonna. We're gonna try and do this right. So if Saban has a tincture on him here, and we are perfect 3 in a row going forward, then he will have enough magic, and we're gonna tincture up her too. Just because, we're gonna try and get this as close to perfect as we can. And, things like that are going to happen, and then we have to start over. But at least if we're tinctured up, then that is still in play, We can still go 3 in a row. When I say 3 in a row, I mean we can do 3 muddles in a row, and we can do 3 vanishes in a row. And if we can do that perfectly, and the RNG is in our favor, then we can beat all 3 of these tiers, being tier 2, 3, and 4 in 3 consecutive spins of the reels. We can do it. It's doable if things go our way. Oh, that was a good one too, and I let it slip. Oh, that's too much. Let's try and slow it down here. I'm going to try for one more. There we go. That's a little bit better. Well, if we get past 10 hits, we're in the third tier. Ah, on 7 he gets us. Gets us on 7. Or maybe it was 6, I don't know. But that's the game. So, aside from the one annihilation, which was total BS, we're 2 for 3 on getting to 10 hits today. And that's the game. Get past 10 hits. I've gotten past 10 hits twice. We still haven't run into a battle after Saban falls down and before he steps on the block there. Which is, you know, we've run this a few times now. I haven't kept track of how many. I just know that having gotten past 10 hits 2 times in the sample size that we were working with at that time was extremely fortuitous. We got lucky to get past those 10 hits in that small of an attempt. So that's one thing that does kind of concern me, because we might be sitting here. This might be a lot of attempts before we get up there again. It's just the way it is. It's tough to get past 10 hits. But that's also why I've been so excruciatingly frustrated and angry when I've lost in Tier 3, because you're not supposed to lose there. Last night, after I let it roll a little while, after we lost against 10 hits, I mean, they went for minutes on end without a Merton being run. So it's like, dude, you couldn't do that for me when I get up there? It's just, there's just so much RNG involved that there's just so much that can go wrong. And the odds of being given the opportunity, just the odds of being given the opportunity to try and execute are pretty slim. All things considered, I haven't figured out a way to get through 10 hits consistently. I have thought maybe I could use a remedy for some of my. The one thing that I did think of that I think would actually work. I don't remember if it's North Cross or South Cross, but there's one of the crosses that. I think this is the moment here where that waterfall shows up here in a minute. One of those crosses will not do anything to my party, meaning it won't change a status on them and it won't do any damage to them. I think it's Southern Cross, but it might be Northern Cross. I don't remember. One of the 2 crosses. So there is, you know, I guess a guy could sit there and wait. Just sit there and wait until Southern Cross, or whichever one it is, once the animation starts for that, once the animation starts for that attack, I think there's enough window of time where you could start Muddle, enter Edgar's hit. After those 2 commands have been entered, have Celis cast Vanish on Setzer, and from there, then you'd enter your reels, and maybe you could still get your reels in before Muddle completes. But the only way to buy enough time to do that and all of that in that little window of time would be to have that animation running from the enemy's cast or enemy's selection of attack. And so you'd have to have everything set up just perfect and be sitting there and waiting for that attack. Which would mean that you're sitting there waiting for Setzer to get knocked out over and over and over again. And there's a far more likely probability that Setzer's laying on the ground or trying to be revived or trying to have a dried meat cast on him when he is when that I think it's Southern Cross, when that Southern Cross gets cast. So it would just add another wrinkle of I guess I haven't given it any real time because it would take a lot of, you need a large enough sample size of testing to know if it was actually even worth attempting. But beyond that, I don't know. So far, we're totally on schedule here. Nothing's gone sideways. And we can try on round number 2 to go ahead and do our move. I should have taken the time to put them in order first, but we were on schedule, so I wanted to try and stay ahead of schedule here. Ah, boy, this is not good. Now we're going to have to be pretty much perfect the rest of the way. Maybe. Ooh, that's a tight shave. I'm going to try for a better one. There we go. Alright. Now, this is usually not an issue, but we have been getting screwed a couple times on some garbage. Alright. So, garbage did not show its ugly face there. And we're pretty much on schedule here. I mean, we're a few seconds behind what would be considered perfect, or the best possible time you could be reaching this point, but we're within a margin of error of on schedule here so far, and that's always a nice feeling. That's a really nice feeling. Really nice feeling. Oh, wait, no, tincture. Now, if nobody gets hit here, and when I say nobody, I mean Setzer or Saban, and Doom. Oh, wait. Yeah, I see we're even ahead of time here a little bit. I should probably switch to Edgar there and do a tincture immediately, even if Setzer's still up, because we need to get that Doom knocked out as soon as humanly possible. Now we're way off schedule, but I'll have to remember that. Edgar needs to go before Setzer, even if Setzer's still up there, because the time that it takes to get that haste spell used could be the difference between staying on schedule and then having everybody knocked out here like they are now. So I'll just have to make a mental note about that. Okay, and I think if I do this right, we're not going to lose a round. This is the only magic that Edgar might cast in the whole thing, and that's a maybe. And honestly, I should probably tincture up here. In fact, I'm going to. Because if things go our way and we do tincture up here real quick, then there's the possibility of 3 straight and we're done. Alright, whatever. That's kind of to be expected. But I do want to get everything in order for this one. Because if everything goes our way, then we're still in order for the next two. And we don't have to deviate from that unless RNG is unfavorable. But if it is favorable, we can literally do 3 in a row. And we're done. And that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't like doing that. I'd much rather let it spin for a while and try to catch it on the other side to try and reset the reels than to try and pick up ground with a double tap. That's just so hard to do sometimes. Oh, that's too close. And then this is about the best way to do it. On the third reel, if you need to pick up time, you kind of have to do it. You don't have to do it, but it's probably... We have so much free time here. We should not normally have this much free time, but we do because we were way ahead. There we go. Ah! I have all the time in the world, and then I just shit the bed, man. That is so infuriating to me. I mean, oh, it pisses me off. It pisses me off so much because there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. That should be 100% of the time. And then, you know, now we're just taking extra time that we don't need. We were on a pretty good pace there. We were probably on a potential PB pace there, actually. I mean, potentially, if everything else goes right, because I have a whole lot of time I can make up on Tier 4. Like, I got to Tier 4 really fast on my best time I ever did, but, but then it took forever on Tier 4. It was just a whole bunch of trash. It was just, and then another reason why I really don't like tincturing up is because you're not making up very much ground. You're wasting tinctures when you do that because, you know, you might need those tinctures later. Now, granted, there's always Osmos in the back pocket that you could use if you absolutely have to. But I'd rather not use Osmos unless I absolutely had to. It's not ideal, because it's not fast. So you notice there, the enemies were attacking. It wasn't the same attack, but it does slow everything down. It gives me more time to do this. To get the reel starting, and let's get a nice there we go. This is like perfect. If I mess this up, there's no excuse for that. There was no excuse for me to mess up the last one either, but I did. Alright, if we get past here, we're at 10 hits. We're at Tier 3 if we get past this. Ah, yeah! There you go. Just, I guess if you're going to do it there. It's better than number 9. That's the farthest we got since the last time we got up there. It was number 9. Alright, we're at about 45 minutes on this. I don't know how many more. I mean, it's not good for me to go too long on this because it does get kind of stressful and I start to get frustrated with it. It's taken me a lot longer so far to try and get this than I don't recall any, you know, it's been a while since I've done this, but I don't recall it being, Well, I shouldn't say I don't recall it being this bad. It's tough to get past 10 hits. And we got really lucky to get past it twice without that many attempts. We should have won. We should have won the first time. We definitely should have won the second time. The first time I was up there for who knows how long. I had all the time in the world, and then just slowly due to, well, it was a nice mix of ineptitude and bad RNG. I ran out of stuff. I didn't have any stuff left in the bag. And then the second time I got up there, same thing. Well, it was less ineptitude and more RNG. I just got screwed. There wasn't much I could have done better. I mean, I'm sure I missed the reel here and there, but for the most part, it was just the game screwed me. Like, one time I remember specifically I locked in all the reels, everything was golden, and then Condemned gets me with a fraction of a second. I mean, Setzer had started his animation for the reverse Joker Doom, and about halfway through, Condemned kicked in and ended it. And then that was the closest I got, I think. I was running out of time there. It's just... This is just a really, really difficult thing to do. You have so small margin for error. I mean, there are easier ways to do this. There are less stressful ways to do this, even with level 6 characters. But this is the fastest way. And a big part of this challenge is trying to go fast. I mean, low levels paramount, trying to go fast is secondary. And I mean, it's just a real sense of accomplishment to beat this boss fight with this strat. It's a real sense of accomplishment because there's a lot of skill involved. There's a lot of RNG too, don't get me wrong. But even if you have perfect RNG, unlimited perfect RNG, but you don't have the skills necessary, you're not going to be able to do it. So it's very, very, very satisfying to beat this boss with this strat. It feels real nice. Especially if you can do it on schedule, which I've never done. I mean, I pretty much got to Kefka almost on schedule before. That was pretty awesome, I have to say. We're not on schedule here, but that's okay. If you notice, I like to put the magic spell in between, like not right butting up against the edge. Like right there, butting up against the top. I prefer to not do that, the top or the bottom. If time allows for it or whatever, or sometimes I'll just say, screw it, I'm making time. What I want to do is this. So it's like separated right in the middle. Just right there. That's the way I prefer it. The thing about this strat is if everything goes right from this point forward, I mean, you're pretty much, you don't have to reset your slots or your order or anything. Well, not from this point forward. From when you enter your commands at 10 hits. If you're tinctured up and everything goes right the rest of the way, then you can literally do 3 in a row. Boom, 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 game over. You can do it. The math says it's possible. So far, the garbage at the end of Tier 1 has not been showing up. As you know, I don't even remember that garbage being there, but apparently it exists because that one day or those 2 days, I think that was like Wednesday and Thursday, they just were locked. RNG was locked in a cycle of trash. Alright, and then we'll skip him and we'll do this. And then we'll go back up and let him haste her, or haste him. And if he's still alive, then we can go ahead and tincture himself. And then now we're on schedule, at least for this. And Celis can go immediately with Doom. And if Doom hits, then we can pretty much just set up. Nice. Well, it was too good to be true, right? But that's fine. We'll tincture up here now that we have the opportunity. So now I don't even remember if Sabin got that tincture off or not. So typically I don't heal them up after that first flare star. I probably am not going to need it. Maybe I will, but if I do, then I'll probably just reset because I'll be dead. Okay, and he hasn't used his magic. Yes, he did. So it's going to cost us at least one more round now. And... oh no, dude! Ah! That's the second time I've done that today now. That's just... there's a whole other round wasted now. And now, let's see. Is he meant... he is. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so there, and then, what are we doing now? What are we doing? 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 Yeah, that's what we're doing. Tincture her up again. And then now we're back to trying to get Setzer not dead. And now we're going to go ahead and try and set up. Okay, you're good to go. You're good to go. You are not yet. You are ready to go. You are ready to go. Alright, now we're going to try it. See if we can get there. Okay, now if I execute here and we don't get screwed between now and the end of... if I execute, we'll see. I'm doing alright today. Oh, I missed that. That sucks. It's going to be tough to do now. I pretty much have to be perfect from here on out. I don't know if I can even miss one of them. Yeah, I can try one more time. This is really bad right here. I was able to steal a double tap. I'm going to try and do it again. There we go. Oh, and I missed! Dude! There we go. Now, if I survive 10 hits, we'll be at tier 3. Ah! It's just so unforgiving. I don't know what the odds of surviving that are, but it's not good because you have 10 rolls. And on each roll, they could target Setzer. They have a 25% chance to target him. 10 times. So the odds of it not, well, there's also the chance that he could block. So just because they target him does not guarantee that you will lose. He will block. I mean, probably on the best run that I had on this, he blocked 2 of them that run. And the first time we got up there on this playthrough, he blocked 1. The second time, he did not block anything. He just wasn't targeted. I think that's probably the first time that I've seen that happen. Usually he has to block at least 1, if not 2, to get past that spot. It would be crazy. I'm glad I don't know the numbers, because the numbers are probably just astronomical. To have a 1 in 4 chance to get screwed 10 consecutive times and to avoid getting screwed. I mean, I guess you have a re-roll. You do have, so even if you get the roll that says you're going to get, Setzer's going to get targeted, there's also another roll that he could block. But he's specifically set up to be highly susceptible to physical attack. So that Edgar won't miss him when we're doing our reverse Joker Doom. So it is, I don't know. As much as I get frustrated with this, I enjoy this because it's a challenge. And it keeps me sharp. I'm working on those reels. Always working on those reels. It's easy to get rusty on those reels. It's really easy. Because they're moving a lot faster than it looks. It feels like, you know, if you're watching a tape of what I'm doing here, it's like, oh, they're not moving that fast. And when you watch them move and you can see the icons, you're like, it's not moving that fast. But I tell you what, it's, if you're going really, really, really fast with your double tap on your pause, unpause, pause, double tap there, you can, I mean, you can do that pretty fast. It's awfully difficult to consistently slow them down that much, though. I mean, it's just, and it's, I wouldn't advise it anyway. I would rather not do it that way. Given the option, I would much rather unpause it, let the reel spin around almost all the way 1 revolution, and then pause it again. I would much rather, because I have a timing in my head there from just regular Joker Doom, where it's easier for me to let it spin around most of a reel and then catch it on the other side and try to reset my timing that way than it is to try and go super fast with the double taps to try and gain placement on the reel. That's tough to do. I mean, you can do it, and if you're in a jam, you know, I mean, that's a backup strat, you know, basically. And, you know, it's not the worst thing. I mean, I think what would be worse would be having to have a long tap on 3 in a row without having any wiggle room. That would probably be the worst. 3 long taps in a row. Or 2 long taps and then an ultra fast shave. That would probably be worse. At that spot, you're probably not supposed to have a very good chance. But you know what? It's like waking up every morning. It's a whole new day every time you start over, right? So anything can happen. You could have a perfect, on schedule 4 tiers. It's doable. Anytime you start this thing, it could happen. don't know. Can she do 3 dooms? I don't think she can. I think she can only do 2, and then she needs a tincture. Yeah, that's right. Well, we're way behind schedule now, and now we're falling even farther behind. Oh, come on, man. Alright, getting everybody lined up here. Alright, let's go. There we go. That's a really fast double tap. I'd rather not have to do that if I don't have to. But, you know. Sometimes. Oh, that was a perfect one, and I let it go. Oh, that's too close. There we go. Well, unless we get screwed by trash, we'll be at second tier. Alright. Well, fell behind schedule a little bit there. That's alright. Alright. We're doing okay here. Let's see. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but if things work out, then it'll be okay. As far as like using that vanish on Sabin right there, we haven't killed Doom yet, so that's kind of a risky move, but... Or we haven't killed Machinery yet with Doom. But... There we go. So we should be okay on that now. And he's tinctured up, so we can go ahead and tincture her up. And then I think we're in order, and we can go. Let's get this in order. We are close to being a really good run here. So let's see if we can't get this. Yeah. Alright. I hate this. Let's go one more time. There we go. Oh boy, I got really lucky there. I don't know if anybody caught that, but like, I probably should have had a diamond on the second reel there. Well, if we get past 10 hits, we're in the third tier. Ah, come on, man! Dude! Alright, I'm done. He blocks it, and then they come back to him on number 10. Dude. Dude! Alright, I'm done. Whatever. I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, okay. So about the only thing that was gained here, other than some frustration, is I made the mental note that I need to skip over Setzer if he is still alive on the first round of Tier 2 and get to Edgar. I knew I was supposed to do that, but I had been not doing that earlier. I had just been going straight to Haste with Setzer, and I shouldn't be doing that. What I should be doing is using that tincture immediately after Celis goes. Use that tincture with Edgar, and then if Setzer is still alive, then he can go ahead and cast Haste on Edgar. That's the better way to do it, because Celis needs to be able to go immediately on her turn for the first couple of rounds there. And if things go right, then we get Siren, then we get Doom, and then we're kind of safe at that point. About the only thing that would get us would be a dual Flare Star. So, and then obviously 10 hits. But we did pretty good there. We kind of had the one round where we got boned by, I think it was dual Flare Star. But the odds of that are so insignificant that I don't even consider that as a thing to be concerned about. If they hit me with dual Flare Star, then hats off, because I mean, whatever. I don't even take it into account that being a possible problem. If they hit me with one Flare Star with only Edgar and Celis up, then that can be a little bit problematic. But if I have multiple people out there, one Flare Star is not a problem. And I'm going to go ahead about my business. I'm not going to worry about healing anybody up except for Setzer. And I'm going to go ahead and try and get to that third tier there, because they're probably all going to get wiped out from Merton early in the first segment of Tier 3 anyway. So it doesn't really pay to take the time to try and heal everybody up after Flare Star. Unless Celis gets killed by it. Then it's kind of problematic, because then you got Edgar with 3 hit points, and then you're in a little bit of a vulnerable spot. Not very vulnerable, but literally small vulnerable. I guess the biggest problem would be if Machinery's still alive, and he could still cast, I don't remember what it's called, but there's an ability that he turns the target into stone. I think Sabin is the only one resistant to that ability, because I think he has Red Cap, and I'm pretty sure Red Cap, or no, you know what? It's not Red Cap. It's there is a piece of headgear, I forget what it's called, but there's a piece of headgear in Figaro Castle. Like it's, I don't remember what it's called, but it's something having to do with Figaro, and either Edgar or Setzer, or I'm sorry, Edgar or Sabin can equip it. I don't think anybody else can, but it would prevent that Petrify from hitting. I don't get that piece of gear anymore. I've whittled away so many different things, and I'm sure there's still a few more pieces of fat that I can trim off this thing. But we're trying to get down there, and that's why we're using this strat for this fight, because this strat removes basically all the fat possible from this fight. It's just very RNG dependent, and it's awfully tough. It's awfully tough to get through all the RNG. And then, if you've got enough practice into it where you're going to hit the reels and you're not going to shit the bed when it comes to execution, then, the odds are much more heavily in your favor. Like if I had had this game more fresh in my memory and I had been more on target with my execution when I had gotten past 10 hits the first two times, I have little to no doubt in my mind that we had already got this over and done with. But I was just really rusty with my reels. I was failing on my execution. So not only was I battling the RNG, I was battling myself. And anyone who's been watching this has noticed that since I went back to that clean controller, and I haven't really been fighting with myself too much. Just a couple of times have I missed a reel, and it hasn't typically been in a super crucial spot. Nothing that was catastrophic, at least. Anyway, I might try this later on tonight. It's only 4 o'clock here, or 4. It's not 5 o'clock yet. It's in the 4 o'clock hour where I live. So later on this evening, maybe I'll give it another shot. But for now, thank you for your time and have a great day.